Well then folks, it's been pretty much a week. It's been pretty much a week since I started this YouTube channel and I'm sick of it already. I just don't like it. It's just another thing to think about. I've got so much to do, so much work to do. My house is in a complete mess at the moment and the garden needs doing. I'm going to go back to work imminently in another 2 weeks or so, and it's just another thing to think about, isn't it? It's another thing I wake up thinking about. It's like, what have I done? Why have I done this? What's the bloody point? No one's even going to watch it. It's not going to be how I want it to be. Anyway, it's done now. So that's this message for today. Just to tell you, I've got lots to do. And practically speaking, not enough time to do it. Not in the way I would like to. I mean, I've just got enough to do here in the physical world, let alone in the mental world, and in the intellectual world, and the academic world, wanting to put together programs, and wanting to put together videos, and wanting to put together speeches, and wanting to put together talks, and lessons, and things like that. How am I going to do it? I suppose you just got to do one thing at a time, eh? One thing at a fucking time. And speaking of which, I'll have a cup of coffee. I'm just going to say this quickly. I'm going to try and catch a moment. It's already too late. My plan was to come and sit here and have my breakfast and talk into the camera, but there's a guy just over there hedge trimming with a power tool, and it's a little bit disturbing, so I'm probably not going to be able to speak that well. Here is a list of all the things that I have to do today. It's time to move my brew into its second container, and that's already 2 days late, so I need to do that. But in order to do that, firstly I must clean out the other barrel, because that's where my first brew was. That's now empty and it's got dregs at the bottom, and I need to empty that and clean it so I can transfer the second brew into that. I need to transfer the videos from the other day onto there and render them into a file so I can upload them onto YouTube. I'd better do that soon, today, because it's already 3 days ago and I don't want to get a backlog, because I already have a massive backlog, and let's face it, a backlog is the worst type of log. I need to take this old squishy tomato and put the seeds into a pot, because the tomatoes were beautiful, and so not to let this old squishy one go to waste, I'm going to use it to take the seeds out. These plants are becoming quite desperate to go outside. They're far too old to be left in this seed tray. It's not good for them. They're starting to wind round each other and wrap around each other, and it's just not good. But I'm worried because it's still only the end of March and there is a chance that it could get too cold at night and these would suffer. But I have to make a decision soon because they're struggling. I have to do this massive pile of washing up because I've left that too long as well, and like all those things, if you just leave it for a few days it quickly catches up to you and becomes basically impossible to live with. I have to transfer this garlic bulb into the ground because I put that into some water about 2 weeks ago, and I suppose that could be done today as well. I need to pester this one incessantly, but that could happen any time. I need to walk this little cherub because he's a dog and he needs to be walked, because he can't be walked on his own, because if he walks on his own he'll run away and probably get hit by a car. So I need to walk him. That's another thing I have to do today. Tidy up generally, because this is all my stuff and it's completely disorganised. Like I say, you go out for one day with your friends to have some fun, You have a few beers in the evening, you start reading, you watch a lot of videos, you put your house chores to one side, quickly they catch up to you. So as you can see, I really have my work cut out for me today. Oh yes, also I have the materials I need to mend the hole in the fence from the other day when baby broke it. So as you can see, I have probably, what, 5 or 6 different chores to do today. All of them have layers of things that I need to do in order to complete them. So, first things first, drink that coffee. And all of that I just listed doesn't even begin with the actual work that I want to do for this channel, which is to share with you my readings and my researches and my insights. So I'm not getting very close to that. But you see, the thing is, having lots to do, something that I'm quite used to. I'm quite good at dealing with having a long list of chores. Most of the time, I just don't do them until it's absolutely necessary. And when you have an awful lot to do, the only thing you can do is to slow right down, take it easy, one step at a time. Don't let the weight of it all stress you out or become overburdensome, because it's life at the end of the day, isn't it? It's just one piece of labour after another, on and on and on and on, until you finally get to die. And look at this. These buds are starting to flower up. Just listen to the birds in the trees. When the sun comes out, appreciate it. There we go, that's part 1 done. Oh, did you throw my tomato away? Yeah, I'm using the seeds, here we go. Next I'll do the tomato. If anybody wants to see how easy it is to grow your own tomatoes, it's easy as this. Get some soil. You can use soil from the garden. If you have a bag of soil, that would be even better. You do actually get soil specifically for tomatoes from the supermarket, from the garden centre. Get a tomato that you really like. The key is starting off with a really nice tomato. You can butter your toast, Jage, it's fine. Just squeeze out the seeds. Squeeze them. Do that. And then rebury it. Oh, you're making such a racket. I've just buried the seeds under some soil. Just get them good and wet. Soak it, let it soak in there. And then put it in a sunny spot. I'm going to put it in the front because there's no space at the back. Watch out, baby. I'm just going to leave that there. Make sure it stays wet, and in 1 to 2 weeks you'll start to see little tinkers. In fact, I'll show you what that looks like, because there's one that I did earlier coming up right here. That's what a baby tomato looks like. Okay, so these beans, this is not good. My top tip for beans is don't plant them in February. They grow so quickly, you could easily leave them until March, and you see what happens. They've been growing for a month already, and they're all wrapping around each other here. Because I can't put them outside yet because it's not warm enough. So I'm getting a bit annoyed, not annoyed, just frustrated, anxious to get them outside because they're all, look how long that is. I should have planted them later, and then I would have been able to have them about this high, and then I could have transplanted them into the garden. So what I think I'm going to do is move them all into pots right now with sticks of their own and ties, so that they're a bit more under control and not wrapping around each other. And so that's going to be a little bit of work.
Let's go see what he's up to now. Update.
Well, as you can see, I'm repotting these out of here and being very careful not to upset them too much. Now, in the garden, as in life, I'm always just learning, and this year is the first year I used a seed tray, and my conclusion is that it's no good. There's no real need to use a seed tray, especially for beans, because I'm just creating extra work for myself doing this, having to repot them. I should have just planted them straight into the pots. So that's my essential advice for today. Don't bother with a seed tray.
What was the initial need for it?
Well, I don't know, it's just a thing I've seen, you know, on gardening programs. They use seed trays to start them off, but why not just start them off directly into the pot? You save yourself some work, because in another few weeks I'm just going to have to take them out of these pots and put them into the ground, so save yourself the bother. Save yourself the hassle, I say. Okay, so here they are. As you can see, I've potted them up, given them some water, tied them on. Now, the results are mixed. I cannot emphasize enough how much I disapprove of using seed trays, especially when you accidentally or you overexcitedly plant your beans too early, because they're just huge. And in getting them out of here and putting them into pots, I put them under considerable stress. And as you can see, some of them have just limped right down. Like, I'm hoping they're going to bounce back, but like, look at this one. It's just flopped over. There's no life in it. And some of them I broke, like clean in half, like this. And I've had to sort of splint it back up again, like this one. Almost broke clean off. But the thing is that it's always worth splinting them back up again, because sometimes they can surprise you about how resilient they are, and they heal where the break is. It will heal itself, hopefully. I mean, all you can do is leave it to sort of see how it goes. And this one's flopped over as well. But I'm hoping that they're going to bounce back. It's quite floppy, there's no life in the leaf. They're all sagging, which is a bit sad. So that's the results of using a seed tray and leaving them too long and then having to take them out. Hopefully some of them will survive. I suppose that's why we do so many, isn't it? In case some die, you've still got some left. Anyway, I don't know what I'm going to do with them now or next, because I can't leave them out here overnight because it's going to be too cold. So I'll have to bring them all inside one by one and make space for them somewhere. You know, it's attempting to be a nice day. Every so often you get a little ray of sunshine, but mostly it's cloudy and windy. Look at that, poor thing. Just drooped right down. It's so sad. Some of them will make it though. They're resilient. More resilient than you might think. Hopefully. Here's my water catching system at the moment. I made this for my wood last year, or in the winter, and when the rain runs down off the roof, collecting these buckets, so it saves me having to fill up the watering can from the tap. Not a perfect solution, but it's a good stopgap before I can sort out a more permanent way of collecting rainwater. Now here's the next job. Oof. Cleaning out the tub. As you can see, it's got all sediment down there, the remains of the beer barrel. Look at this. Alright, now I'm going to see how the beer has gone. It's a lot lighter. It's a lot lighter than the last one, which I like. So this has been in here for longer than recommended. Hang on. Ooh. It looks nice. Smells nice. It doesn't seem to have done as much fluffy fluff as the last one. The last one had a big fluff pack on here, but this one has been in here for a lot longer. The last one was in this tub for 6 days. This one's been in here for 2 weeks. Just a different method, I suppose. Now I'm going to transfer it into here. Alright, let's do it. Here's how you do it. You suck it up. There we go. Aha. Okay. Let's just take a few moments. I've actually overfilled it a bit, so I'm going to empty some back out again because I need to put more carbonation sugar in here, and that will create gas, and if it's too full then it might explode. And can you imagine a 5-gallon tub exploding in your living room? That wouldn't be good. So I'm just going to pour some out in a moment, because I'll need to wash this. See, look at all there's a sediment in the bottom. I'm gonna experiment with this because I'm still learning what the difference is between certain conditions in the curing stage. If I get a jar, excuse me, that's 500, that's about half a litre. Take a few of those, put them in different conditions, and then I'll be able to tell the difference, and then I will understand a little bit more about what's going on. I've got 4 here. What I'm going to do is fill 4 of these jars. This is a much more golden one than the last one. Right, there's one. Right, next we take this, it's called priming sugar. You can also use carbonation drops, which are like little hard hard sweets which you drop in. Now last time I used far too much, and when you follow the recipe it tells you to use a certain amount, but in the end it was far too gassy, and this hole was filled with gas and the pressure was very high. So I'm just going to try a little bit in each one now. Okay. So I make this clear, this batch is specifically, this batch is specifically experimental. I am deviating from the recipe intentionally, and that is so I can see what the differences are supposed to be. How do I get into this fucking thing? Okay, so what I'm doing, baby, please go, please go. I'm putting a different amount of sugar in each one. The first one is going to have a small teaspoon. The next one's going to have a slightly larger teaspoon. The next one's going to have a full teaspoon leveled off like this. And the next one's going to have a nice big heap. And then the rest I'm going to pour in here. Whoa, that is filling up. I don't like it. Why do you have to stand so close to me? I'm trying to be clean here. When you put the sugar in, it seems to swell up, fizz up, you know, like putting sugar into Coke. So I'm actually not going to put the whole lot in. Just going to put a bit in. Right, I better remember which one's which. Okay, cookie. Now then. He just wants to be close to me. He wants to be close. So, what have we done? I've got a barrel here, and I've got 4 jars. 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm going to number them so that at the end of the period of time I'm going to be able to see if there's a difference between them. And again, that just helps me to understand really what I'm doing, rather than just following the recipe every time, following the instructions to the letter. I like to deviate a little bit from time to time so I can actually see what's actually happening. So this one, I'm going to put under here, there, with this box over it, so that it keeps it in the dark. Pop that there like that to cover that. And these ones I'm going to put in the cupboard. There you see I have labelled them. 1, 2, 3, 4. What do you think of that, baby? Okay, and those I have put into the back of my cupboard, and they're going to sit there for how long? This says leave somewhere cool and dark for an extra 2 weeks. There we go. 2 weeks is 27, 3rd and 10th. That is when they're ready, and I suppose any time from there over this week they can be drank, and I will write that on right now. Beer ready. Cool. 2 weeks. See you in 2 weeks. Let's get pissed. Now, Gemma has just pointed out something to me. There is a protest currently beginning in Parker's piece to do with the bill. So, I've quickly decided to pop down there, poke the camera around, see what we can see what happens, put the thing on document, and return and finish my chores. Sometimes plans change and you gotta think quick, isn't that right, JG Meiji? Let's go. Looks like they're gathering outside the police station. So we're going to go over there and talk to some people and see what they have to say.
Good environment, everyone's really fucking friendly, really chilling.
Would you like to have a word with the camera? Yeah?
Thomas Jefferson, he said, when tyranny becomes law, rebellion becomes duty.
Anyway, to the home. Much to do. Haven't even walked baby yet. So I've had a pretty busy day, but look at the sorry state of my beans. I'm really annoyed. It looks like some may be pulling through. Look, this one's still got some uprightness, but look at this one. It's just, and look at that. They're just dropping down. Like they got no life whatsoever. And this is the danger of repotting plants, is that they go into shock if they're not ready or they're not used to it, which these ones obviously aren't. But it's just a big shame, because I was looking forward to these being in my garden. But like I say, hopefully, like this one has got some perk left in it, so that one might come back. I'm not feeling good about this. Look at that. Look at that. Bad. Terrible. This one looks like it could do something, and this one. But these, oh dear. So, and also I've made another mess. I cleared up one mess and I just made another mess. So it's just mess, isn't it? Everything's just mess. One mess forms another mess, and you only really move things around to be dealt with later. You never really take care of anything properly. Tomatoes are my favourite. That's where my heart really lies, because they're so sort of bold and vibrant, and the flavours and the variety, and they're easy to grow. Just chuck some tomatoes in your garden, you'll have fucking tomatoes coming out of the ground. Hello baby. Anyways, there we have it. What else have I done? I did the beer, I went to the protests, I did some chores, not all of my to-do list, but anyway, I'm getting ready to wind up for the day now because it's been a bit eventful.